Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
Today we have Joe Erle on, and I'm actually very excited to talk to Joe because he's going to talk about cyber insurance, which I really do not know much of anything about other than people do ask for ransoms and try and get money out of people, and Joe insures for that situation. So Joe, great to have you. I'd just like to hear kind of a little history of how you ever got into this business.
Of course, of course. Thank you for having me, Bruce. Appreciate you inviting me on the pod. I would say that I got into this business because my dad was in the business. He did a 20-year stint in the Air Force as a navigator.
Wow.
He flew the big planes like the C-135s, stuff like that. And his second career was an insurance agent. So he insured all sorts of property. The atmosphere was a little bit different back in the 80s for insurance, but than what we have now. But I was inspired by, his hard work ethic, his ability to build a business from the ground up, as an entrepreneur within his agency and eventually become partner. And after I did a quick stint in corporate America, I worked for a large $9 billion company called Fastenal out of Winona, Minnesota.
Wow.
Uh, they specialized in American-made fasteners and industrial supplies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And after a couple years in corporate America, I was like, maybe I should try insurance.
So were you doing sales for the Fastenal? Is that what it was
Yeah, I
called?
was an assistant manager, outside sales rep for them here in San Diego. And yeah, it was just not what I thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
like most corporate jobs. And decided to get back into financial services. My brother had gotten into insurance, my older brother, Gabe, who's now a partner here, one of the founding partners here at C3. And he kind of got me into it. At first, we were working at different agencies. I started, from scratch at a small agency here in San Diego. And then from there, we joined up at another agency, and then me and him and a number of other brokers branched off and started C3.
Wow. So you started out in property and casualty or some version of that, or it wasn't life insurance, I suspect.
Yeah, so I was doing all commercial property, liability, workers' comp, business auto, all that stuff for about 12 years. I was very much a generalist working with all sorts of business, restaurants, contractors, manufacturing. And then about 3 years ago, kind of during COVID, when I saw all these hacks happening, I realized that there was a real need for cyber insurance. And I had been selling it throughout my career, but I felt like, that's where I could make the most impact. I'll tell you a quick story. I was at a trucking convention because we have a trucking department here, and one of the truckers, he owned about 50 trucks. He came up to me and one of the partners here, and he was like, "Hey guys, I got hacked. I'm dealing with it right now. I've been negotiating with this hacker. He's got all my information. He's got it all encrypted. And yeah, we have backups, but it's got financial information on my mom, my dad, my family. It's not something I want to get out there." And that's what we call a double extortion. Not only are they encrypting the information, they're threatening to put it out on the dark web
Oh,
for anyone to see. So in order for him to A, get that information back, and then B, get that information deleted, they want him to pay the ransom. So he didn't have cyber insurance at the time. So he was negotiating and figuring out all this by himself, him and his IT department. And he had actually done a really good job negotiating. He got the original demand of 250,000 down to 115,000. The problem was he had to pay the 115,000 in crypto and he didn't have a crypto account. So he started a Coinbase account. You know, what else would you do, right?
Yeah, right.
The the American crypto exchange, Coinbase. But unfortunately, once you put money in there, you can't take it out as easily. So because of know your customer laws and money laundering laws, you can't just put $115,000 into Coinbase and then send it off to somebody. So when he tried to do that, his account got locked. Not only was he not
Oh
able to
no.
send the money,
Oh,
his money got locked up in there and he couldn't take it out.
oh God.
So by the time he, instant messaged a bunch of people on LinkedIn that he knew that worked at Coinbase and got the money out, Bitcoin had already gone down 10%, so he lost 10% there.
Uh,
Still had no way of paying these hackers. And of course, they give you a time limit.
yeah, right.
And at that time, it would have been about 2 weeks after they originally hacked him. It was a Kira ransomware group, if you want those details, who are pretty notorious for hacking small businesses and middle-sized businesses. And what he had to do after we talked, that's kind of where we started talking, and I was able to talk with some of my cybersecurity friends in incident response and cybersecurity software, and they helped him get connected to a company called Digital Mint out of New York. And all this company does is pay ransoms. They have large crypto holdings, and they have negotiators, and they have relationships with insurance companies as well, where they pay on behalf of the insurance companies as well. So they were able to pay the hacker, and he was able to get that information deleted and his systems back online.
Wow. Wow. And 50 trucks. So this is not like a gigantic 50 trucks. What are they generating? 2, 3 million a year or something? I don't know what that would do, but not a huge company.
Yeah, I mean, each truck probably produces about 500,000 to $1 million in sales.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so they're in the 20 to 50
25
million
mile.
dollar
Yeah, 20, okay.
range. Yeah, so not a small business, but not a huge business. It's kind of bread and butter of Southern California, these kinds of businesses. So, kind of the lesson that I took from that was cyber insurance can make a big difference for someone like him, because not only do you get the money to pay the ransom from this insurance companies, but they bring the entire team. They bring the breach counsel, so you can have, privilege with an attorney who plays, quarterback for you. They bring the incident response. They bring the digital forensics people so that you know who you need to notify if your data is lost. They even will pay for PR people and, of course, your lost income while you're down.
Wow. Wow. So on average, is there sort of a price? How much does cyber insurance cost?
You'd be surprised. It used to be right after 2020, 2021, relatively expensive compared to, what it was, but the prices have come down a lot. There's a ton of VC backed companies right now
Oh,
that are selling cyber insurance, so the prices are artificially low.
oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. So
And
they obviously see the upside if the VCs are coming in.
correct, correct. And if you have the right controls like multi-factor authentication, endpoint detection, um, you're doing your due diligence on any financial transaction, like wiring money, uh, what we call out of bound communication. So if somebody asks you to transfer money via email, you're making a call or texting them to confirm that they actually had sent that email and that the information on the email is correct. What we see a lot is man in the middle attacks, where hackers will sit on your email waiting for them to uh, put a transaction request through. And at that point, they will change the transaction details so that you will send the
Oh,
money
wow.
to the hacker and not the person the escrow account, for instance. It happens a lot with contractors that are sending like big wires for materials, a ton with escrow companies where you're getting ready to send this big transaction where you're paying either in cash or making a big down payment, and that's getting intercepted and changed by the hacker. So
And a
that's
lot of times you don't even know, right? Like all of a sudden the transaction's changed and it goes out and it's not received. And then you got to come back and say, hey, we never got that money. And then it's too late, right?
correct.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So when did cyber insurance become a thing, so to speak? Like in the
I think the
early
first cyber insurance policy was sold in 1999.
1990.
Yeah,
99. Oh, so okay, pre 2000. Wow. Okay. So that was kind of the first time it came out. And then now it sounds like in the last couple of years, it's really grown to be a big deal.
absolutely. Yeah, it's about a $23 billion industry right now, cyber insurance.
Wow. That,
Uh, yeah. And to put that in perspective, though, cyber crime,
oh,
if you put it all together, is about a $9 trillion industry.
oh, we really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. 9 trillion with a
Oh
T.
my gosh. Wow. So I assume that if you sign up for, if you go to C3 and sign up for cyber insurance, there you also have to go through some due diligence on your part to come up to some sort of standard so that you're much more protected. That's probably part of the process, I would assume.
Yes. Yes. One of the things a few things that underwriters look for, the main things are multi-factor authentication. So, name and password are not enough. There needs to be another way for you to confirm identity. They're looking for backups um, and regularly checked, and um, you're backing up like at least weekly or monthly at the most. They're looking for next gen antivirus like endpoint detection, EDR, MDR. Endpoint detection being the software like CrowdStrike Falcon, who was in the news recently.
Right, right,
Um, and MDR is the next iteration of that, where the M is for managed, so that it's being monitored, 24/7 in a security operations center, either your own or outsourced to a company. Like CrowdStrike has that as well.
So what level does a company start to get into danger in terms of being potentially hacked for ransomware? 2 million, 5 million? What are the hackers looking for?
I wouldn't say that there's a limit to what the hackers are looking for. I think they're looking for low-hanging fruit,
Ah,
so people that are easily hacked. Um, there's a trend right now in 2025 going forward in right-sizing ransomware,
oh,
um, and automated ransomware. So uh, the uh,
wow.
the hackers are very developed. It's like organized crime, right?
Yeah, right.
Um, so they want to hack you and encrypt you to the point where it hurts enough for you to send them money. And they want the amount that they demand to be an amount that will hurt, but is also payable with a couple signatures from the CEO or the board. So
Right,
they want to
right.
get in and out quickly and get that money and go on to the next person. Yeah.
Oh, so there's sort of yeah, as you say, a low-hanging fruit. A company that's not terribly concerned about getting hacked and they aren't protected very well, whereas some of the bigger companies are probably harder to hack because they're protecting themselves better. So is there, it sounds like there's no size too small for cyber insurance.
I would say yes. Yeah, even like influencers can get their accounts hacked. Like
Wow.
for instance, if you're like an influencer on TikTok or YouTube, like yourself, Bruce, you know,
Yeah,
someone could
right. You're
yeah,
making me nervous.
someone could get into your, YouTube account and threaten to delete your videos. Uh,
Right.
and or send out, stuff that would hurt your reputation. A lot of influencers, they are married to their platform. You saw what happened
Right.
with TikTok. We had people like saying their goodbye speeches and crying because TikTok was going away. Um, a lot of people for TikTok, Instagram, that's their livelihood, or the main source where they support their e-commerce businesses. So if those videos were deleted, if their channels was locked out, they'd have to start from the beginning, and find all those followers again. For someone like you and me that we don't have like a ton of followers, we could start over and it wouldn't be like it would suck. But for someone with like millions of followers, I'm sure like, they're gonna lose their brand deals and all that other stuff.
So do you insure against that type of situation?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So even though it's not really cyber hacking, if TikTok shut down, would you insure against that? That's a little different, right?
If they shut down due to the Supreme Court telling them to shut down, then no. But if there was a outage due to
Oh,
um, some kind of cyber incident, whether malicious or not malicious, kind of like what happened with CrowdStrike, then
right, right.
you could insure for that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's more than just hacking necessarily, it's business interruption basically.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I'm curious, how do you market your services?
I market through a lot of organic content on LinkedIn, Instagram, uh, and also through reaching out to companies that are in my target market, like fintech, crypto, and in addition to that, I'm the cyber guy for C3. So C3 has, 5,000 plus clients that we are cross-selling cyber to. So they may have liability and property and work comp, but they don't have a cyber policy. I introduce them to it and, get them quotes and help them decide if they want to move forward with it or not. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Are you aware that this is a funny little coincidence that Rotary International has a three C3 also. But theirs is the Climate Change Committee.
Yeah, that's
Completely
fine.
different.
Yeah, there's a C3 risk. We're C3 risk and insurance, but there's also C3 church.
Oh,
There's a C3
okay.
bank, all in San
Oh,
Diego.
so there's all sorts of C3s out there.
Yeah.
But I assume you're not sitting there doing cold calls. Maybe you are, but how are you actually reaching people?
I do like sales navigator for LinkedIn.
Ah, okay.
Um, so I'm doing some in-mail.
Yeah.
I'm reaching out to people that are in cybersecurity,
Ah,
um, and also like accountants and bankers that want to help protect their clients.
so just a little um,
Centers
potential
centers of influence.
conversation about LinkedIn Navigator. Is that worked for you? Is that a good system that's reached people for you?
I have a
Maybe not.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not doing it right, but I have it's hit or miss.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not a genius marketer. Um, I'm
So
just
how
trying to get
how many
myself out there.
how many podcasts are you doing?
We're putting out on the Ransomware Rewind podcast about one podcast a month.
Okay, yeah. So not a huge amount, but once a month you're putting something out there and you market it on LinkedIn or wherever and off you go from there.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't realize the amount of work that it was to run a podcast. So respect out to you, Bruce, and all the podcasters out there. It's a lot more work than you think, like especially because I'm doing a lot of the editing myself.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And when it's like a half an hour Zoom call, it's not as difficult, but we started like producing them like Joe Rogan style, like in studio with like
Oh, wow. Oh,
three
you,
plus
oh,
cameras,
oh my gosh.
you know, different audio and everything. And it just got to be kind of like overwhelming for me. So, it was, it's fun and I love it. I've learned a lot about editing and production and stuff like that, which are skills like that you can use, anywhere,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
or
yeah.
anything. And, I've learned, new softwares like CapCut. I've learned Descript now, so I'm I'm getting better at it and getting more, you know, savvy with the editing. I think a big hurdle is just learning these softwares, because if you don't have a background in like Adobe and all these like production softwares, it is a bit of a learning curve. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun learning and figuring all this stuff out too.
Wow. Wow. That's impressive. I'm impressed. I, I, I probably could go down that avenue, but fortunately, we have a whole team behind us that puts all that together. So, kudos to you for putting that together. That's a big item. So, well, I am totally fascinated by this. I want to keep this conversation going, but in the meantime, Joe, where would people get a hold of you?
I think the best place to get a hold of me is c3insurance.com/cyber. You could also find me on LinkedIn under Joseph Earl. I share about a video, probably 4 videos a week about cyber insurance, cybersecurity. Also on Instagram, TikTok, all those. My handle is It's Cyber Joe. So ITS Cyber Joe.
Wow.
And yeah, those are the best places to get a hold of me. If you want to just email me directly, it's joe@c3insurance.com, Joe at C as in cat, the number 3insurance.com.
So I'm curious, one last question here. So the cyber side, it sounds like you all do other types of insurance also?
Yes, our agency does every type of insurance that's out there, basically. We do property insurance, work comp insurance, auto insurance, home
Wow.
insurance, health insurance, uh, all for businesses. We do have a personal lines department where we do home and auto for individuals as well.
My
We
gosh.
usually focus on the high net worth contingent of that, just because one, um, it's more profitable, but number two, we feel like we can really make an impact with the additional services that we have, including like claims management, claims advocacy, and in addition, the insurance market in California is crazy right now as far as property goes. We we have a mass exodus of insurance companies from California. We have very few choices for people. We're putting a lot of people with the California Fair Plan. Unfortunately, um, I think we're about uh, the Fair Plan may go bankrupt in the near future. I mean, with the amount of damage that just happened in Los Angeles, with the Eaton fire and the Malibu fires and all these fires that are happening right now, it's not looking good for California as far as fire insurance goes. I think we may
Yeah.
have a situation where wildfire insurance is going to be like getting earthquake insurance or flood insurance.
Yeah.
It's going to be like uh, in a whole different category than, just wrapping your home and auto together, like how it is for most people. I mean, I'm not
Well,
even, I'm on the the other side of the fire line, and even my insurance policy got non-renewed. It's
Oh
just
wow. Oh wow.
just
Yeah. So you're safe, but you didn't, did they cancel it all of a sudden, like recently?
yeah, they canceled it. Well, it's not canceled yet. They gave me a
Oh,
cancellation notice.
oh
Uh,
wow.
It's like now you have to go shopping. You have to figure out like something new. It's going to be more expensive. It's not
Well,
great.
and I've heard even the reinsurance companies, is there reinsurance for cyber insurance?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. A ton of that's done in London, uh,
Oh, okay.
with the Lloyd syndicates.
Yeah.
There's no insurance out there that doesn't have reinsurance.
Yeah. Okay. I had heard even some of the reinsurance people are kind of going wheels up, so that was causing trouble. But
And
uh,
it is. You're right. Um, every insurance company that you go to, I mean, they are usually on the hook for like the first 300 to a million of the loss
uh-huh.
or the amount of insurance they sell, and then the rest is resold to these
Wow.
reinsurance companies. So when the reinsurance companies raise their prices, that gets passed down to the consumer.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think we should leave this discussion there and maybe we'll come back to it again. It was great talking to you, Joe, and
Yeah, of course.
I look forward to talking to you again, maybe hopefully when the fires have all calmed down and maybe the insurance world has calmed down, but we'll see. It's going to be a wild few years, I'm sure.
Are you going to ask me about my favorite sandwich?
Oh, yeah, actually, I do want to ask you about your favorite sandwich. You told me you knew what it was. What is your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich is the Thanksgiving dinner sandwich.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the
Okay.
turkey, the stuffing, and the cranberry.
And this is the day after, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the day
okay.
after. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the cranberry and the turkey and whatever else you could put in there that maybe do you ever put mashed potatoes in your sandwich?
sure. Yeah,
There you go.
mashed potatoes in the sandwich. Of course. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think with that we should probably sit down. You want to sit down with Winston Churchill with a Thanksgiving sandwich? I think that would be the perfect opportunity. I think Winston would go for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think Winston Churchill would be all about the the cyber war too. If he
Oh,
was
oh
here,
my gosh.
he'd
That
be
would be a very interesting conversation to find out what he thought about all that kind of craziness. Because it is a war out there right now.
if your listeners are interested in reading, a good book recommendation is uh, the the Ghost Fleet. It's
Say that
about
again, the
like
goat suite?
the Ghost Fleet.
Oh, Ghost Suite.
It's
Okay.
about like how World War III would go, and a lot of it's about cyber and cyber warfare.
Wow. Okay.
Um, and the Ghost Fleet being like all these naval ships that are on ice, uh,
Oh, oh
that are
wow.
like all analog from, the Second World War and Korea and all that, and how they have to be, tapped on to be used in this new war because everything else was too connected and got compromised.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. All right. We're going to put that in our announcement uh, for the podcast so that people can go there and potentially read this book. So, well, with that, I think we'll sign off for now, and I look forward to talking to you again in the near future, Joe. This was great fun.
Okay, Bruce, thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.